And when you look at the enemy thrives in and through disintegration. So that's the like that's sin. Sin disintegrates, it separates. It literally, you trace it back. You look at the etymology of our English word sin. It means to sunder. It's like to break apart. Um, and so the enemy of our soul, he wants to fracture our lives by breaking it into these different pieces, compartmentalizing our lives, our sense of self. And by doing that, he convinces us to not allow God into certain parts of who we are, to not surrender certain parts of us to God's holiness and his goodness and his faithfulness and his work that he wants to do in and through us. And so many people have forfeited meaning and purpose and connection with God because they view a big part of their life as sacred or as secular. And God's like, I want in that. Literally, the word profane, and I write this in the book, but it comes from the Latin profanum, which means outside the temple or before the temple. And when Jesus says things like, tear down this temple in 3 days, I rebuild it, or when Paul says in 1 Corinthians 3 or 2 Corinthians 6 or 1 Corinthians 6, like, you are God's temple, what he's saying like, hey, the holy has been relocated to where you go and what you do. And that doesn't mean by holy, doesn't mean you slap a fish sticker on it or you make it about church or you find a way to weave a cliche Christian lyric into it. That's not what that is. You say, no, you realize that where human flourishing happens, like God designed, God honoring human flourishing, that's holy. That is sacred. That is beautiful. And when we see these prophetic visions all throughout the prophets of where this is going, the promise of the earth and the heavens to come, like where that's going, it involves so much of what we would now cast aside as just everyday, mundane, ordinary, unholy, secular life.